nothing's really popping out at me this week. There's this game about the Kursk submarine that might be interesting, but I'm just not feeling it. I guess I could cover Call of Cthulhu, but that game's already been covered to death. I have no idea what I could possibly want to... Oh. Oh boy. As always, I'm Alex, and this is First Five, where I ask if games are worth your time, not your money. I played a game for 5 hours, and I'm gonna tell you if those were 5 hours well spent. And today...
we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yep, Deltarune happened. So apparently Toby Fox was waiting for the planets to align on the spookiest of nights so he could do a magic game summoning ritual. And now we've got a special Halloween surprise. For the 5 people that somehow haven't heard, on Halloween we randomly got a sort of first chapter demo? PT Undertale edition? Well, whatever it is, it's not a true full-on sequel, but it does have enough substance to be its own little short game and function as an effective Undertale 1.5. And because it's Undertale, that means we're stopping the presses, and literally every Discord I'm in now has a new, frantically implemented spoiler channel. So yeah, let's dive into Deltarune. Deltarune is a story where 2 school kids, Chris and Susie, get magically teleported to another world by a weird-ass supply closet, then learn about the power of friendship and use it to overcome all obstacles. I'm not even being snarky with that synopsis. Undertale's just gone full anime. But as recognizable as the plotline is, Deltarune pulls it off pretty convincingly. Once you get to the other world, the characters start clicking and Toby Fox does his Toby Fox thing and pits you against almost annoyingly saccharine and incompetent goofballs, while secretly getting you emotionally invested in a darker, overarching plot. You control Chris, and are joined by Prince Ralsei, a goody-two-shoes hero from the other world, and Susie, your fellow classmate who just threatened to eat your face 5 minutes prior. The 2 basically act as polarized angel and devil sitting on your shoulder. The prince wants you to spare everything you fight, and Susie just wants to wreck shit to the point that you can't even control her in combat. If you've played Undertale, you'll probably instantly notice what's going on here. One party member espouses the Undertale pacifism run, while the other is going for full-on genocide. What's kind of weird, however, is that regardless of which way you go, the differences between the 2 runs are mostly minor, and the game's plot almost assumes you're going to go pacifism. I'm aware that it's only the first chapter of a larger game, so you can't really expect the differences to be all that major, and the game's linearity doesn't really bother me. But it definitely feels like there's a right way to play Deltarune, and that's the pacifism route. It's far more narratively cohesive and rewarding than any small nods the game might make when you decide to actually fight before it rubber bands you back on track to the next plot point. My minor quibble may be by design, however. The game is quick to try and beat the idea that your choices don't matter into you. The opening segment of the game is all about setting this theme up. You're following a predefined prophecy, and Susie regularly ignores your answers to questions that she herself poses to you. Overall, this is clearly going to be a theme going forward, though what the game will ultimately have to say about player choice is anybody's guess at this point. On the gameplay side, I was actually pretty impressed. Deltarune's puzzles were all pushovers, barely worth mentioning, but the combat feels like a highly polished version of what Undertale had. The whole fight, act, mercy system is still intact, but having multiple party members and a TP system introduces a great deal more depth to the system. Acting sometimes requires you to use multiple party members, meaning if you need Ralsei to act to pacify a monster, you can't get him to heal you that turn too. And Ralsei will need TP to heal you as well, which acting doesn't generate, but defending, attacking, and dodging enemy attacks does. This means that you have a bit more nuance in how you act as you have to balance your TP and character's actions along with progressing the fight. On the enemy side of the equation, Deltarune does a far better job of giving you engaging patterns to dodge than Undertale did, while still not overwhelming new players. And if I'm being entirely honest, I think the boss at the end was one of the best displays of Undertale's unique combat system to date. It really shows just how much room for flexibility and creativity there is in Undertale's combat system. So keeping everything I just said in mind, what do you get out of 5 hours with Deltarune? Well, that's enough time to play through the entire game twice if you want to see some small differences in dialogue. But if you want my honest recommendation, just do the pacifist run. The small differences on a second run aren't really worth the extra hour and a half unless you enjoyed it so much that you just really want to experience the game again. But that first run was still absolutely excellent, and I can easily recommend it. But the best part of all of this is that Deltarune, even as it is now, still feels like a complete self-contained game. Aside from one glaring issue with uninstalling the game, it doesn't have any crazy bugs like you might expect from an alpha or early release, and it features a full narrative and emotional arc. It's basically the video game equivalent of a pilot for a TV show, but it's still its own full episode. And even if the website says this game is intended for people who have played Undertale, you don't need any prior experience to enjoy it. And considering it's free, why not try it out? Hey, I hope you enjoyed this first 5 review. If you did, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're looking for games that value your time and don't pad themselves, I'm your guy. And be sure to check out some of my other reviews or longer form content while you're here. But regardless, thanks for watching this far, and I'll see you all next week.